and welcome to Catacris Magazine. We can be found on the web at www.catacris.com. My name is Jason J. Rock Houston. It's my great pleasure to be speaking with the legendary original Enuff singer, Donnie Vie. How are you doing today, Donnie?
Donnie Vie.
Donnie Vie. Okay, I wasn't sure, so thanks for correcting me.
I shouldn't even have done that. I shouldn't even have said that.
No, actually, I'm glad you did, because I'll give you a funny story here. In prepping for the interview, I came across this clip of Howard Stern, who I know he's an old-time fan of yours, probably one of the original guys that gave you guys a lot of coverage back in the day. And he was making Joe. There's a singer, Donnie Vie. I don't know if it's Vi or V. So I think we need to clear that up. So thanks for doing that. But we're talking to you about a couple things today. First of all, you have a new single coming out called "Party Time." Talk a little bit about that.
Party Time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a song that I had kind of written part of it long time ago. I've just never been. Hang on a second. I just I know this allergies are so bad. I just never been able to find the song. The songs always let me know what they want to be, and it's just one that kept going back into the woodshed, wood piles that I get to attend to it later when the other ideas come. And finally it came to me when I was demoing the Beautiful Things record. The idea came to me. I'm like, oh shit, because it had eluded me, and then so I finally found the song, and it didn't fit at all with the Beautiful Things record. It's that record is like perfectly how the songs that are sequenced and everything, and a couple other people were kind of like about the song, and because it might not be my best song I've ever written, but I think it's I see another vision for it. I see it as the most marketably commercial type song that could be applicable to commercials and movies or sports and stuff like that, and I mean, you can't get to the chorus any faster than that, and it's about partying, and it's like we've been holed up for all this time and stuff, and now it's I feel like it's party time.
I imagine so.
I think the timing is good, and I've held it up a bunch of times. It was with a label that wasn't very helpful, and so I pulled all my stuff from. I went and actually bought all my records back from the various little companies. So now I own all my own stuff, and so that, like I said, that got held up, and I finally plugged in with this producer director who'd been doing. He's an old friend, but he'd been doing movies, and he just finished a documentary with Michael Madsen, and did some commercials, and he's like, man, I want to do it. He goes, I'll do it with you. I said, okay. And I didn't expect it to be what it came out to be. It's so big league. It's so pro, and there's just so much storyboard, and it's like, I'm not taking myself seriously, because it's funny. I played Batman in it, like a disheveled Batman, and we got all the characters and stuff in it, and the song, but then the recording of the song, I don't think lived up to the video anymore, so I retracked the song, recut it, and I got Chip to play bass on it, and I got Roger from Jellyfish to play on it, do horns and stuff, and I retracked it, and now it's ready to go, but we've been sitting on it for we finished up that video, I don't know when it was cold out, so we've been sitting on it for quite a while, and now I finally hired a good promotional team, good promotional guy and staff, that we have, you pay, you get something good. You know what I mean? So we put out the money. I'm going for this one, putting as much effort and energy I can do into this, because I believe this song is really commercially adaptable to all kinds of people, age differences. So I really, and the more I hear it, the more it's like, it's trying to write a song like that my whole life. Chip and I were trying to write one too, like a "We Are the Champions," I want to rock and roll all night, party every day. It's one of those simple things, but so that's one thing. But trying to write one that has that effect, but also with the same integrity of all my other writing. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm just doing some cheesy thing. You know what I mean? So that's what it's. Huh?
You're one of those artists. I mean, I gotta say that, especially you and Chip, together, you guys are great songwriters. I mean, you put on any Enuff Znuff, album, great tunes. I mean, you guys really should have been much bigger than you were.
Yeah, thank you. But well, that's basically where it's at. I finally came up with that one, and the more I listen to it, the more I like it. It's got some R&B and soul in there, and that's kind of what I'm into. And like I said, have you heard the song yet?
I haven't heard the song. That's why I was going to ask you, where can people check it out?
I'll have to get it to you.
Okay, yeah. And the other thing I understand is you also got a box set coming out. Is this an actual box set, or are you going to release this stuff digitally? Talk a little bit about that.
What it is it's a flash drive.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
It looks like a laminate.
Yeah.
Looks like a laminate, and it also doubles as a laminate for any future shows I have coming up. This meet and greet, VIP, everything. This laminate gets you around the place and to meet me and stuff like that. And
cool.
Because it looks like a laminate and has this little flash drive that pops out of it. It's got all of my solo records, all of my main studio. Like that's 5 of those. Like Just Enough, Wrapped Around My Middle Finger, White Album. See what is it? Oh, it's Extra Strength, Beautiful Things.
Yeah.
And then there's a 6th record called The Party Pit.
Wow.
Excuse me, which is 8 brand new songs, unreleased brand new songs. I did them in my home studio.
Yeah.
So they don't sound quite as professional as when they're mixed by professional or something.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's the parts. It's having the right parts that fit together. That it's. The mix really helps, but I mean the parts are all there, and you get the idea of this. The song sounds good, and they're good. They're decent. Yeah. So there's that, and then there's all a bunch of demos from Beautiful Things record, and a bunch of demos from other stuff, and various singles that I've dropped. And
that's a cool thing. I mean, that's a cool thing. I mean, I love stuff like that where you got like a heavy volume of music coming out. I mean, because
it's like 40 videos on it too.
Cool, because there's so many bands today where you get like bands are either living off their catalog of music, or people aren't buying CDs. We're not going to bother making any new music. So especially for a guy like you to still be out there cranking out a ton of new music, that's really cool for the fans, Donnie.
Yeah, well, that's what I do, and that's what the gods intended for me to do, and to affect people in a positive light. And like you said, it doesn't make any sense now to make records.
Yeah.
Because it just costs a lot of money, and most people don't even have a CD player anymore. But But this thing, like my old records and stuff, they're like you'd have to find them on eBay and stuff, and they're outrageously priced.
That's amazing.
And they're out of print, and it's like $200 for Just Enough record. That's ridiculous.
That really is.
For $110, and you get this with all the records and everything, and all the videos, and it's your laminate, so you can get around in my concerts too.
And I think the fact, like you said, you bought the rights to all your music, and I don't know how expensive that was to do, but it's a pretty cool thing because. Anytime you're going to be making money off your own music, it should go back into your pocket, not some record company guy's pocket, So
it got to a point where, you're basically, if you're not dealing with a major label or a big indie label or something like that, you're just dealing with guys that are basically, you're doing it for distribution and stuff, and maybe they don't have any more advertising than I'm capable of. They zero in on your local fan base, and that's what you would sell those to them anyway. And so they ended up taking half the money. So there was no point in that anymore. And we did a deal with Enuff Znuff, did a licensing deal for the Enuff Znuff catalog last year, and that's where I got some money, and I just used all that money to buy back my records. Some of them cost a little bit. Some of them didn't want to let it go, but I got it back. So I own them all now, and I don't know if they're worth anything, but I own them now, and they're all my little babies have come home. You know what I mean? So now I know where everything. I know who to look at for my money. That's
a great feeling, I would imagine. And talking about all this COVID stuff, people have been locked down for almost 2 years now, and it was becoming very sad where even today you got people talking about, oh, I don't know if we're going to be able to open these concert halls and, you know, got to wear a mask and stuff. What's that been like for you to be off the road for such a long time?
I haven't been on the road for, since 2013, I think, was the last time I was on the road.
Oh, wow.
I was performing, live rock concerts. I've done a few acoustic shows, storyteller shows, but then I got sick.
Oh,
then I went in the hospital for over a month and a half and was starved as my pancreas melted.
Oh, wow.
So since I've been out of there, I suffer from extremely bad anxiety.
Oh, wow.
I have anxiety, and it turns into depression and stuff, and it just comes out of thin air, but it's like, I don't know if you've ever done cocaine, but it's like you feel like you're kind of hit a crack. You're so frozen up with fear and shit. And so that was a lot of my problem through the years, is I was medicating that, you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Because it's in nobody, and anxiety is one of those things that people don't take you seriously when you say you got shake it off. You're just being a pussy or something.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that, man. It's like it's chemical in your brain, and it just fucks you up. And then the only coping skill there is to try to dull it.
Wow.
Try to chill it out, and the voices and everything. But with and I went through a lengthy rebuilding process. In 2013, 14, I was arrested.
Oh, wow.
Coming off the plane from England, there was an old warrant for me. It was my sister, whatever. It was for a manufacturing drug charge or something like that, which I didn't do. But but I ended up. You try telling them that. So I sat in jail for 6 months, and then they offered me this program. It's called the Adult Treatment Program. And if you really want the help, this is the most complete program with a lot of incentive of keeping your ass out of prison, shit like that. You know what I mean? So break you down all the way back to zero, and then build you up stronger the right way. And if you want it, you're able to make it from there. And that's the help I've always needed. And it's the therapy that I got that was so crucial. That's what made the big difference, was that therapy, and that I was ready for it. And since then, I've completed that like 6 years now, sober and stuff. And but now it's time that I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I have to. The only way to make any money is through live performing and stuff like that. But that's mostly shut down. But I'm getting it ready, and do some live online concerts. And whatever everybody else is going to be doing, I got to do that, and I got to grin and bear it with my anxiety, and I got to take care of business. So it's been a while since I performed live in one rock show, and it went great. Yeah,
and I've seen your music videos and live shots of you guys from throughout the years. But talk a little bit about your anxiety. Did you ever experience like any kind of stage fright, like when you guys are especially first starting out and doing these much bigger shows?
Well, see, my whole life, and as a kid, I didn't have a good childhood. I had a really, really depressing and a very negative childhood.
Sorry to hear that.
Too much of it. Wow. Not a lot of encouragement.
Wow.
No father. Really, almost no parents.
Wow.
And stuff. And so I had I was a very scared and insecure kid. You know what I mean? I couldn't make friends, anything like that. It was really terrible. And I would delve into my own world of where everyone's gonna love me one day. I'm gonna get so good at this, and it just all this time isolated in my head, living in this little world. And,
wow.
But then when it was time, all of a sudden, I meet up with the larger than life Chip Znuff, and it's time I'm gonna be lead singer for a soon to be national act. You know what I mean? And there's no hiding when you're a lead singer from national act. Everything is under the microscope, and you're right there on the center stage. And so, at first it really took, it's just, people look at it as like I'm an irresponsible fuckhead. You know what I mean? But it's at times it turned into somewhat of that. But it started as drinking a few beers or something, and then drink too many beers and eat a line of blow to wake you back up and stuff. And it's like, and the labels and everybody had no problem with that. They would just give him what he needs, give him what it takes to, and then one day they just change all the rules, when I'm getting decent at the game. But it's just something that it's something I really wish people would know more about and take more seriously than people do, because it's there's everything else, that's paralyzing and crippling and stuff, like injuries, cancer, all of these things are terrible. And everybody takes those very seriously. What they don't take very seriously is anxiety. Well, it can take you out of the game, that shit.
Wow.
That and along with the internet, when the internet came, it made everything 10 times worse, because people can sit there from the convenience of their anonymity, and just fuck with people constantly.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've had to learn to just not look at anything, and I learned a big lesson in the power of fuck it.
I think that's so true, because I mean, look at a talented kid like Wolfgang Van Halen, and people are always bad mouthing him for being overweight or whatever. But like, man, just let the kid do his thing,
No shit, it's like, who the fuck are you to say that? It's just, it's not what he's out to sell. He's selling you his music, his material, and his energy and stuff like that. Not the personal life, all of that shit.
Yeah.
In the old days, you didn't have that, because the old days, all you had was a record cover to look and see who the band was, and you'd stare at that and listen to your records, and then you'd either see a concert or you'd see them on a Midnight Special, or read an interview in Rolling Stone or something like that. That's all you knew about these bands. So all their debauchery and their skylarkings, they went unknown. You know what I mean? It's just like mystery, and there's no mystery anymore now. It's just over-saturated exposure everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you guys sit and kind of marvel at the fact. I mean, for example, not just your own career, but you've had, despite all of this. But I mean, look at the fact that you're this guy that grew up in Illinois, and you got the same publicist as like Kiss. I mean, that's pretty amazing right there when you stop and look at something like that.
Well, I'm hoping that things are, better late than never. I've changed my priorities, and I've changed my values have always been sort of the same, but I've never aimed for rich and famous. I aimed for it. I wanted to be an artist. That's the whole thing boils down to.
I think you succeeded at that, Donnie, because anybody that looks at your body of work, the songs you've written and performed over years, great quality of work, and I urge you to kind of maybe tell your story a little more, because I'm a guy that's followed your career. I'm a huge fan of what you've done, and I never heard any of this stuff. It kind of reminds me of when I interviewed Brian Wheat, the bass player from Tesla, about his book. He was telling me, man, Tesla, the guys in the band, we did just as many drugs as Motley Crue, but we just didn't advertise it. I mean, when you think of Donnie Vie or Enuff Znuff, you don't think of those guys as doing drugs, maybe, but or like maybe the guys didn't advertise it, but but you know what I mean?
That's all I've been, all of the feedback for all of the years. It's like it gets to a point where I feel like people think of me as I was the worse than Keith Richards, Riffs, and everybody. But
I don't know about that. but
it's just rumors and stuff like just go nuts, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if you have anxiety, and you have this and that, you have to just basically stay away from it and not look at it. But yeah, it's cruel what people do.
Yeah, I mean,
but my anxiety is not always situational. It's just a chemical in my brain that doesn't function
even from what you just shared with me today, I think kind of because I didn't suffer from that kind of childhood, and I think that's got to have some effect on somebody. But on the other side of it, I'm sure that's a huge reason you started writing songs and got involved with music, kind of almost like therapy for you, kind of creating this beautiful music.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like that I was. That's what I feel my purpose was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why I keep going, and because I love my fans and they love me, and they always have never failed to let me know how important. That's the one good thing about the internet is you can have communication and open communication with your fans and stuff. Sometimes I've been too open, but they love me. I love them so much. That's the reason I do everything, and everything else that's going on there. Enuff Znuff. I have nothing to do with that. None of that's my fault anymore.
Yeah. And have you ever given any thought to writing a book like a lot of these rock guys have been doing over the last several years?
Yeah, I have. I've been told that so many times because the amount of stories and everything that I have is ridiculous.
I think
like a craziest story, the craziest thing that ever happened to say somebody like you or whatever in your life. That's a Tuesday for me, and Enuff Znuff and stuff, So it takes a lot. That takes a lot of self-discipline and a lot of and hooking up with the right people and probably basically logging a bunch of stories and stuff. And I would have to do that kind of like in an interview style because I wouldn't even begin to know where to start and this and that, and I ramble and so it is in my plans, it is in my agenda. But right now, I'm still singing well, and I'm still writing well, and so I figure I'm going to focus on that, and then when I can't anymore, then the story doesn't have an ending yet.
That's true. And as far as the flash drive we're talking about, if people want to get their hands on that, what's the best way for them to purchase that?
Oh, just go to my website, DonnieVie.com. Everything, all the information's right there, or you can look for advertisements somewhere. They should be out everywhere. And
is that available now, or is it going to be released on a certain date?
Pre-sales went on sale last Friday, and
cool.
And they sold out immediately. So we did another run of pre-sales, and because I wanted to do pre-sales to help fund the promotion and to fund the manufacturing of them, and we're going to do it all, the mailing out and all of that stuff. It's like our team that we have here, and it's but I think it'll be worth it. And if you bought the pre-sale, you get this that old. Remember, I told you the old version of Party Time. Well, that was printed on a 45 record.
Oh, wow.
So you get that autographed, and those are limited edition. There's only like 70 of those, and you also get a 15-minute Zoom call
for the
same
cool.
price. And if you wait until the single's on sale, like after the video's out and stuff, now you're not going to get those things, but you're still getting that flash drive is so much bang for the buck. And I made it so cheap because people just don't have that kind of money for music and things like that. And some do, some don't.
And I think if you make it like available, to people like that, they're going to buy it as opposed to I'm just going to buy the single for 99 cents.
Yeah, well, you don't even have to buy the single these days. It'll be posted on YouTube immediately.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you just go to look at it on YouTube and listen to it. That's why I made and all the records and stuff. I mean, they're technically obtainable. You know what I mean? But, and the videos and stuff. But that's it. But they're all collected together. They're all mastered right. They're all, and there's all of it. Is all the videos and everything, and plus a new record and stuff. But the incentive is to get it that flash drive because it's also a laminate. You know what I mean? That gets you carte blanche, with me and stuff. So it's so far it's doing really, really well, and it hasn't even officially gone on sale yet. And so it's all good indicators and good problems.
Yeah, and I think you're showing people a different way of doing things because I mean, of course, there's sites where you can buy stuff digitally, but I mean, you've really put some thought into this. I can't think of anybody that's kind of put together a project like this, and like I said, it's quality and quantity. Which growing up as a huge Kiss fan like I was, I mean, they used to have a new Kiss out, at least two albums, or at least an album every year. So the quality of stuff and the quantity, I mean, 5-6 solo albums already. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot more other stuff that I've been releasing throughout the years. Or some barely all legible, audible craft and ideas and stuff. But I didn't put any of that on here. And then between that, collectively, and all this, I wrote all the songs for Enuff Znuff too. Wrote and sang all those. So all those records, I didn't include any of that on this. There's Extra Strength record, which is the strength record only done intimately with acoustic or piano. Yeah. And but that's the only Enuff Znuff I put on there. They're doing different things with Enuff Znuff over at what was Cleopatra Records, and I don't have much. I got my share in it, but I really don't. I don't have much input on that. I don't even have a copy. Nobody sent me a copy, so I know I'm plastered all over it. I know I wrote and sang all the songs, but I'm just not focusing on that right now. But I do plan to. I did purchase the trademark in the name. That was bought out from underneath me in the United States. Okay. But somebody didn't think to get the rest of the world, which I did. And and so now I'm capable of. I'm putting together this little all-star band. I'm not going to say who it is yet. I go over to go over to Europe and stuff and do 2 weeks with of Enuff Znuff stuff. You know, my version.
Okay, that explains that. Because I recently there was a few months back there was a press release put out from you regarding the you don't now own the Enuff Znuff. So that kind of explains that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they got all over my ass for saying that. I jumped the gun as I do. I'm impulsive, and I jumped the gun because I was so excited about that.
Yeah.
You know, and plus I talked to a couple of these cats that they're going to do this with me, and it's going to be an all-star band. And,
wow.
And we're just going to. I want to see all of my fans again. It's been so long, and sing these songs for them. You know, they've been seeing them. If you catch those shows, you know, by the I call it Diet Enuff Znuff.
Yeah.
They've been catching all that stuff, but that's not my fault. And I know people, you want to see the guy, you know, you want to see and hear the guy, and there's no reason now that I can't do that. It's just in an orderly fashion. I want to play those songs again for my friends and fans and stuff, and then as while I'm putting together my solo tour, which is going to be a long show, like 3-hour show with all kinds of breaks and different elements of the show, and plus some of the Enuff Znuff and everything. But Enuff Znuff was my whole life, and that's that's part of my my legacy or whatever. And I just think that it's been terribly devalued throughout the years, and you know what I mean. It's not the same thing in that rapper, and I wasn't able to use it. I wasn't able to do anything with it, which has infuriated me.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
But I'm kind of making peace with that, and just seeing, don't see eye to eye, and that's all. And it's like everybody's like, well, Donnie, you're still writing all the songs, and they're better. They're better now, and so I think about that. But it's just that level of violation that bothered me. But I'm moving past that, and I'm just focusing on what I'm doing now, and trying to make days happen, put good days together, and dealing with what I've got to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, and once you start doing these live shows, it would be cool, I think, to put out some of these clips, like live performance clips of you and your band performing, because the one thing I think they'll get to at a Donnie Vie show that they won't get at an Enuff show is they're going to get you playing those classic Enuff Znuff songs, but you're also going to throw in your solo tunes. So they're going to get a little bit of everything coming to the Donnie Vie show.
I'm going to make sure it's just like this flash drive. I'll make sure that you get the bang for the buck, because I'm everything I do is for these fans, and that's all I care about. Yeah. That's all I that give me a purpose to breathe and live and exist, and they come to me for not even just music, personal stuff and stuff. I've been I've been able so much anymore, but a lot with the sobriety and the anxiety and things like that, and come to me for that. And it's all about that. The big money is not my objective. I don't need much, but it's just enough to not have to worry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I think you got two things going for you. You're an artist, and you got integrity in your music that you're putting out there.
Well, I got integrity about my music.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Integrity about anything else.
Well, I mean, people, you're a real guy. As you said, they'll say you're a real voice of Enuff Znuff. Anybody else has come, since. I mean, they're performing the tunes. I mean, and do you have a preference? I mean, like, what do you think about Chip kind of taking over as lead singer? What do you think about that?
Let's just put it this way. I think the same thing everybody else thinks about that.
Okay. Leave it at that.
I'm a fan as well, and I mean, the thing that attracted people to the band, is obviously my vocals and my melodic sense of melodies and stuff. You know what I mean? And so, without my vocals, I think you lose a lot with that band. Because that was one of the main things that separated us from the other bands, was that I have my own original sound, and you need that voice with those songs to have that impact, and so I think the same thing as everybody else does, but not everybody feels that way. Yeah,
I mean, for years you guys were kind of thought of as a hard rock Beatles, and especially you and Chip were said to have had this chemistry where people always were comparing you guys to like Lennon and McCartney. What did you think of that?
Well, if I was Lennon and McCartney, I don't knock anything from him, because he fast-tracked me and helped me very much in my formative years writing and how to how to do formulas and this and that, and gave me some confidence. And that was my big brother, and we always we were confident everywhere we went. We knew when we were going on stage we were going to kill, but I always made sure I delivered when it came to a new record or a new concert or something like that. And it just is what it is. It was a long marriage, and there's a lot of more downs than ups, and so we're older now, and people are like looking at have different agendas and stuff like that, and at least somebody does, my agenda has always been the same, just to be bond with the fans.
So let me ask, are you guys on pretty good terms? Because you mentioned, I think it was Party Time that he plays on there. Was that like a track that was recorded years ago, or was it recently recorded?
No, I just tracked it. Like I said, I just tracked it for that other label. It was just a single. I didn't do another contract with them. And it was just a single, and I was getting I was dealing with a lot of bullshit with them about that, and so, but I had already tracked it and was releasing it on a 45 vinyl. And all the shit went down, and then, like I said, I made that video, and it needed to be retracked. It needed to be better and to fit, because this video is larger than life. It's really, really great, and I wanted the song to stand up to that. And as far as Chip, the least he can do for me is play the bass on my songs, and I'm able to talk to him. You know what I mean? I'm able to to call him. He can call me or whatever if there's anything really business related, or if I need him to play something. Of course he'll never ask me to sing or do anything on his stuff, because he's all about his own vision now, you know what I mean? But I just like, well, why does that have to be called Enuff Znuff? I'm not called Enuff Znuff. I'm Donnie Vie, Just do your own thing, but it's, he's explained that he needs to do that to work and stuff. So we very much are in different mindsets, and but it's, we're able to speak. We're able to talk.
That's cool. At least I'm glad to hear that. That's kind of, maybe sometimes one of those situations where better off kind of working separate than apart. But everybody would love for you guys to get back together.
Well, if there's anything that ever made sense for that to happen, some kind of logical reason to cross that bridge. That's something that we talk about at that point. I don't think I would stand in the way of it. I think that if there was a real reason to do it, I'd be in. I'd do it. I think so would be.
And I mentioned that you guys are often compared to the Beatles, and talking about that, I seen a cool cover you did, Donnie, of Imagine. Great tune to cover. Talk about your decision to cover that.
That was I was making a record called The White Album, which was sort of at that point I felt that I had bottomed out. I was fed up and just discouraged and just done with everything. So I just had just been ostracized from Enuff Znuff and everything, and so I took some time and just with my laptop and just tracked some stuff that my plan was to just clear out the basement and clear out the closets and get all those other ideas out of my head and lay it all down the way I want to, and then say goodbye to all this. You know what I mean? 'Cause it's like, if they don't love me now, they never will. And so that was, I could do anything I wanted, and so that I tracked that track for fun, and people liked it, and they said, well, put that on there. So I did. I did Instant Karma. I did not too long ago, and put out a good video for Instant Karma, and that was all for anti-bullying.
Oh wow, cool! I love that. I love it. You're getting involved with stuff like that, and talking about Lennon. A couple interesting anniversaries. Last year was the 40th anniversary of his death. This year is 50 years of Imagine. As that we're just talking about. Pretty cool. Pretty great song to track. Amazing that song's been around that long.
Yeah, it's and I feel if anybody's going to track a Beatles song, or a Lennon song or something, do it justice. And there's no reason to tear it apart, and you can make it your own, but not really. A song like that, I've heard versions of that song where somebody tried to make it their own, and it's just you don't want to mess with with Beatles and Lennon songs and stuff like that. I think
you made the right choice there, because I'll tell you, in listening to the track, prepping for the interview today, you kill it, man. Your vocals alone sound just dead on like Lennon, and I think that's part of why it works. And another tune you covered was Elton John's Tiny Dancer. I always love that song, and I was reading the comments on there. People were saying, man, I never had any idea that Donnie was such a great piano player.
I don't know about that. I'm a hack on it.
Well,
but
better than me.
I can get by enough to sing to it and stuff. And Tiny Dancer was something that I just did for a close personal friend that really wanted that from me, and I did it. And somehow through the years, versions of it got out there, and so I guess that's obviously what you heard. Yeah. And so it is out there. I'm glad I did it. It was real personal, but I'm glad I did it. And I try not to cover much stuff because I just I don't need to. You really don't need to.
That's the thing. I mean, you've got your own great original tunes that you can do, but then when you do pick a song to cover, you kill it, man. And I just got to say that that's the thing. You got one of those voices that you could do, like, you're great at doing like a rock party anthem, and you can do a beautiful ballad at the same time.
Well, I'm very fortunate in that's my voice, and it's believe me, it's nothing that I deserve because I'm still smoking all these cigarettes and don't take care of myself, and and it hasn't let me down. I don't think my luck will last forever with that, but until it does, I mean, those songs are, if I do cover or something, it's for me. I did it because I loved to do it. I love to see. Let's see how I do at recording this song. I might not have written it, but have some fun doing it. You know what I mean? And, And so a lot of people like them. And if that's an avenue to bring you to my stuff, then all the better.
Oh yeah, and probably the two songs you're known the most for is, of course, New Thing and Fly High Michelle. Now, when you guys were originally working on those tunes, how surprised were you when they became the hits they did?
Well, at that time, we were very confident that what we had was going to do business. We knew that we were gonna get there, and with those songs, those were like baby songs. They were, it's like your greatest hits up until that point. Yeah, those two were. Right from the get-go, people that heard them, management, label people, everybody there was like drawn to those songs, like these are hits. Yeah. They'll do it, and they did, and they did their thing. They're little baby songs, as far as I'm concerned. It's like looking at baby pictures, your grade school baseball picture, stuff like that. So that's what they are, because that's the first record, and I just was getting started, and now my latest stuff is my best stuff ever. So it's not a lot of guys after 25 records, So
you're still killing. You're putting out new killer music, but that's got to kind of amaze you when you do perform live. Those are like the two songs, or those are the ones you got to play at the encore. Those are the two everybody wants to hear, and you're like, how about some of my new stuff? But I mean, people still going back to that stuff,
Well, apparently that's basically the two songs that people are seeing these days when you go see Enuff Znuff. You're getting there towards the end of the opening act, and that'd be them, and you catch those two songs, and it's when it's that loud and everything, and you got the goofball standing up there and shit. It's like sometimes in the shows and the things they're opening up for, I don't think it matters who sings the songs as long as they're played.
Yeah, but I mean, it's got to amaze you that songs you wrote that many years ago, people are still getting off on. But and it's not a bad thing because
it's the only ones anybody knows. It's the only ones anybody knows,
Yeah, and see, that's the thing that gets me is like, if people would dig into the catalog, there's so many great tunes. Like as much as I love those tunes, I'll tell you a song I think I even love more, Mother's Eyes. I always love that tune.
Yeah. Well, I've learned not to critique anything that I've done when I'm talking to somebody and their favorite song is this or that.
Oh, yeah.
And, it might not be mine, but I don't want to go bashing anything. But, I mean, the real fans and the fans have stuck with me all these years, and they've always followed everything that I've released and put out and stuff. And so those songs, appeal to them in the same manner that they appeal to me. I'm glad they exist, and they're the ones that are well known, but that fans are over those as well. They want to hear the new stuff, and they want more stuff from me, and I continue to deliver it until the stuff I'm making I don't feel is good or better than the last thing I did. That's when I'll stop.
And I think the thing with you, Donnie, that I kind of am following your career, but that I caught notice of is you're not just living off of the Enuff Znuff legacy. You're continuing to make new music. You're not, and you don't ever really kind of repeat yourself. But the cool thing is kind of like Motley Crue did on each album. You kind of reinventing yourself. It does not sound like the last album. You're kind of always doing something new and growing.
Well, that's because that's what the powers that be out there that channel through me have in mind, you know, and when it's decided that that's that job isn't done, that's till then they're feeding me the ideas, and I have to catch them and just not fuck them up, and you know, put them down so people can so other people can hear them, and I've gotten really, really lucky in that respect, because most of it I haven't really had like a real collaborator to work with, so it's like I've had to do all of this shit, you know what I mean? And I really would love, you know, I would love to work with like a modern, I have no concept of how modern days production is done, or how they achieve the sound that they get, and the instrumentation and all that stuff, and so I just, you know, I'm not trying to compete or get into that game. I'd love to see how I do at that with a modern producer, but you know, it's continue to pound them out, and just less of them at a time now, you know. There's just no point, and so there'll be even more quality over quantity.
So basically you have a home studio now, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I've had a home studio for quite a few years, but you know, they were shittier, you know, and they've gotten better and better. So once, you know, the computers nowadays, you can make, like, our first record cost $250,000 to be made and stuff, and all of that went into that and stuff, and you can do that all right in a computer nowadays, and so that, you know, it takes some specialness out of things, but it also makes everything goes with the times that. You know, there's just so much that's been eliminated in the world. So many special things are dropping out. Oh yeah, left and right, especially in the arts. You know, in business and stuff. The computer is just online and everything. It's just replacing people, replacing relationships. It's replacing everything. It's just tearing it all apart, and it's oversaturated. And this, you know, trying to find me in the middle of that stuff's a needle in a haystack. So thank God for my fan base, and maybe Party Time will translate over to you know, other crowds, and maybe land me a fucking commercial.
and I'd imagine growing up in Illinois, Cheap Trick was quite an influence, because if memory serves, you guys covered a song, I think, Everything Works.
Don't remind me of that. I did a shitty job of that, but Cheap Trick came with sort of with Chip. I knew Surrender, and that was on the radio and stuff. But Chip kind of brought Cheap Trick to my attention, and I really, you know, Robin was one of my best friends for a while.
Oh wow.
You know, and that's like one of my favorite vocalists of all time. Just became very, you know, I think that there's comparisons, but that's like the melodic stuff, and a little bit of vocal sound. But you know, it was two completely different, different bands. But that's there's not a whole hell of a lot, or at least when we came out, was there a whole hell of a lot of great Chicago, you know, bands that came out and had any impact. You know, there's a lot of great bands that just didn't have any impact or weren't well known, but a lot of power pop and stuff. I consider Chicago the home of that, you know. Yeah, because
I was asking too, because somebody told me that Chicago for years was really kind of the home of the blues, and so that's kind of what I was going to ask. There wasn't really much of a rock scene there when you were growing up, was there?
It was like local hair metal bands and stuff like that, and they were more competitive than supportive of each other, and you know, we just came on the scene with local radio and stuff, and just blew these guys all away. So people were jealous, and bands we loved that loved to hate us, and you know, but no, blues is what Chicago's known for, but also people don't think about it, but that's like Chicago became like the New England when it came to power pop and melodic pop and stuff. And so many little bands, you know, have one record or one single or something are from there. But that, it's like it's the home of that as well. And blues is great, and you know, I can totally relate to the vibe and the atmosphere and what people are feeling, the pain and the soul that's in those songs. You know, but you know, it's a lot of it. It seems like just the same song to me.
Oh yeah, and I'd imagine as a solo artist, Donnie. It's got to be a great feeling. You kind of got a lot more freedom where you're not locked in a box. You can kind of do whatever type of music you want. You know, you don't have that expectation that it has to sound a certain way necessarily.
Well, that's what's good about not doing a whole record. What's doing about singles is I can, like, my next single could be heavy, it could be a Motown type, it could be country, it could be anything, and I can do whatever I want, and I get to, like, I let the song tell me what it wants to be, and with Enuff Znuff, I was kind of pigeonholed and steered down one road, that sort of, that production, and that, you know, I outgrew that quite a while ago, and so you can hear through Enuff Znuff that I'm trying to do different things, but it still gravitated back to that chainsaw guitars and stuff like that. And now I'm able to complete the exact vision that I have in my head, or what the songs want to be, and I'm very happy with that. And you know, sometimes I wish that I'd been doing that all along. You know.
Yeah, but you know, then again, you are the classic voice of Enuff Znuff. I mean, even if they continue to pump out new music, the records everyone want to hear, the records you sang on. So that's just the truth of the matter. And final thing I want to ask you.
You want the candy that the rapper says.
Yeah. Really, that's a true statement. And you know, the last thing I want to ask you about, there was recently an Enuff Znuff kind of compilation put out. Rarity, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
That's one of those that I was talking about, Cleopatra.
What's that? Okay.
I didn't even know that was part of the deal.
Yeah.
With the licensing deal, I didn't know those were included, and so when I heard box set, I thought it was going to be all of the Enuff Znuff records into a box set, but it wasn't, and it's all these old early demos and stuff that were recorded okay, you know, in a decent studio and stuff, but it's things that I chose to not
put out,
really release for certain reasons. You know, I was learning then, and you know, and so everything just got all compiled into a 1-3 record box set, which I've seen it, and I don't have one, but I see my face is plastered all over it, my voice is plastered all over it, my writing is plastered all over it, but I'm, you know, there's somebody else out supporting it, and I just hope people don't confuse it again and think that I'll be there. You know
Yeah, that's why I was asking about that, because I think it would make more sense to kind of do like you suggest, put out a great huge box set of all the old records, because like you said, a lot of those records you can't even buy now. For that reason alone, I think it would be worth doing.
Yeah, well, at least now we know who to go after for my money.
Yeah.
I didn't know record labels sell your record to other labels and this. And I didn't have no fucking clue where to track anybody down. I was for a while. I would just like give away songs and stuff on my website just to see who came after me. So then I would know that would flush themselves out, and I go, okay, I'm glad I was looking for you, you motherfucker. You know, but at least it's all in one place now. I like some of the stuff Cleopatra's released over years, but then what they became famous for is they would repackage something totally to the point where you think you're buying a new album, and it's something you've already bought. But I think they've been pretty clear with the Enuff Znuff. But I think probably the reason they released that is they're thinking, okay, people buy this because it's stuff they don't have already. And you know, it's like they don't do a hell of a lot of promotion for this stuff. It's kind of left up to the band to do that, but it's basically it's the diehard hardcore core audience that buys the stuff, and so they're more or less sort of like the rake. You know, they go on, they rake up everybody that's you know, that needs their stuff out, and this and that, wants to re-release things. And there's like I said, there's some records that are really hard to find. They were out of print and stuff, and you know, they're repackaged and everything, and mostly, and they're a lot on vinyl and stuff. So that's really, really cool. And we don't get the first 2 albums back until next year from Atlantic. So those are the ones that actually make money, and so once we have those back next year, then we'll probably do a publishing deal. Like the Rarities thing, I only knew about it because, like you said, it's not really advertised, but it popped up on Amazon and it popped up on YouTube when I was looking for stuff. And you know. So how do you feel about that? I mean, I think I know the answer, but like people can go and buy that CD, but if you really want to, you can just go on YouTube and play the whole album. I mean, like, what's the point? Yeah, right. There's bootleggers and stuff out there, and there's so many people that actually have all that stuff. But it's nothing that I would, you know. I mean, I can understand if you're a fan, you know, like say you're a Kiss fan and stuff. You want anything that you can get your hands on that you haven't heard, or just to have it in an orderly fashion. And so I can see the beauty of that. It's just you know, it's stuff that I wouldn't have ever chose to release until I was laying on my deathbed or something.
Yeah.
I'm always looking forward, and I don't even have the old records. I don't have the old memorabilia. I don't have the gold records. Wow. I don't have any of that stuff because I never really cared about or had any sentiment, because when I'm done with the song, I'm done with it. It's yours now. I'm on to the next song, and that's all where I focus on. It's the creative.
Oh wow! So you'd have no desire in getting any of those gold records if somebody was to offer that to you?
I think one I had, an old girlfriend when I was out of town, was snorting lines off it with some new guy or some shit like that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I just left that where it was
I hear you, yeah. Well,
yeah.
Donnie, it's been great talking to you. Let's keep in touch, because I'd like to talk to you again down the line, but the interview we did, I'll let Michael know when it goes up, but probably in about a week or two. And like I said, at that point, we'll let everybody know it's up, and you can post on any of your sites if you wish to do so. So thanks for doing the interview. I really appreciate it.
We will be. Thank you for thinking of me, and I'm glad we got it together. And thank you so much. And you got my number now, so if you need something, or you didn't ask something, or this and that, you can just reach out to me personally and send me a text.
I will. I'll do that, Donnie. Thanks so much. You have a nice day.
You too, buddy.
Bye-bye.